Hello, students. We are back with a podcast series, College to Corporate Season 2, powered by Corporate Connect. In our first episode, we have Miss Camila Saenz as a guest. Having more than 10 years of experience, her recent achievement being starting her own business, Tuteemi, which builds the bridge between families and foreign tutors with the goal of improving one student at a time. We thank you, ma'am, for sparing some time from your busy schedule to interact with us. I welcome you on behalf of Corporate Connect and IBS Mumbai for this podcast session.
Yay, thank you so much for having me.
Yeah. So moving forward, let's dive right in, ma'am. Shall we begin?
Let's go.
Yeah. Can you share how your career journey began and took shape from roles in PR and social media to entrepreneurship in edtech?
Sure. So it was a bit of a roller coaster because I started doing photography and I love photography when I was a teenager back in Guatemala. And I was sure that I wanted to study photography. So I actually did a lot of photojournalism internships in Kenya, Thailand. I also volunteered in the Philippines. And it was not till I worked in Thailand that my boss told me, why are you doing this? And I was like, oh, I wanted to help my country and change my world and change the world through photography. And then he was like, oh, if you really want to have a big impact in the world, you have to get into business or into politics. And at that time, none of those actually felt exciting. So I tried PR. I was working at the Taiwanese embassy in Guatemala. And I decided I didn't like it either. So I tried business, and that's what I've been doing for the past 4 years now.
Yeah, that's quite interesting. Like you have traveled a lot of places, done a lot of different things, and ended up in Taiwan doing a business of your own self. A woman entrepreneur is a great thing.
It's been quite a change of plans and things, yes.
But I guess it's good that you ended up in the right place.
Well, it feels like that so far.
So, what advice would you give to someone who is planning to pursue a career path similar to your own?
I think for me, it really helped that I tried a little bit of everything. So as you were mentioning, I did social media marketing when I was in Thailand. I tried photojournalism when I was in Nepal and I was in Kenya. And I think it's just important to try a little bit of everything. So it's clearer for us what we don't like and what we don't want. And by trying these different things, we will have a result of what we really like. So if you are changing your career or your path, it just means you tried new things and that you're just curious about new things. There's nothing wrong about it. A lot of people is actually very scared of these big changes, but I think it should be an exciting new adventure.
So, how important was it, and do you think is a global exposure that you got in shaping someone's career path?
I definitely think it's had a huge impact, just because I managed to speak to people from all around the world. And as you know, depending on the country where we're born and raised, our priorities are very different, right? Like maybe in Latin America, it's just very important for women to get married and have children. But then maybe nowadays in Asia, in Taiwan, where I live, women don't treat this as a priority. So having a global mindset comes from having all these conversations with people from different countries, and then just trying to find the things that are actually valuable for you. So yeah, I think it's really important to actually have the exposure to just talk to different people that think very different from you.
That's a beautiful insight, man. Given that you have worked in different industries, how can a MBA student best position themselves for a versatile career such as yours?
I think an MBA program, that's something I would usually tell my professors when I was doing my MBA program, because it's a master's in business administration, right? They're teaching you how to administrate a business, but they never really teach you how to start a business. At least in my career, that was not the main focus. It's more about like, how do you prepare a good CV? How do you do good in an interview? How do you dress up for an interview? Like having an MBA, at least in Taiwan where I studied, I don't really think the goal was to start a business. It's more about like, how can you get a job? So I think if you're an MBA student, you should just try to go to more networking events, just getting to know more people outside of the school that can give you more insights and then helping you get your foot in the door. Because I feel like I always say that one of the most important things is just to have a lot of connections, to meet a lot of people that can help you open doors in the future.
Yeah, so basically, MBA is teaching us how to manage, not to start your own business. Yeah.
I don't know. Do you feel the same?
Kind of, because like we are learning how to run the things, not to start, but still management plays a very important role in any organization. So
Yeah.
I guess MBA helps a lot in a business to grow. So like,
Yes.
what can you tell me about your management style? How do you motivate your team to perform better?
My management style. Um, it's tricky, because I don't see myself as a manager. Like I just give full freedom for everyone to just make mistakes. Because I feel like when we're making mistakes, that's when we actually learn. So I encourage all my team to make mistakes. But there's a rule. It's just like, if you make a mistake, don't do it twice, because that means that you didn't learn the first time. So if someone actually makes a mistake the first time, nobody gets angry, nobody panics, because then it makes me feel like everyone is still learning. So I think my managing style is just giving my team freedom to go and do new things and try new things and brainstorm, and then just like find the solution by themselves. It's just like, if something is going wrong, go and find the solution by yourself. Like, don't come and ask me, because I always tell them, like, whatever you ask me, I'm just going to go and ask Google. So you go ask Google first, and if Google doesn't give you the answer, then come to me, and then we can try to Google it together and find a solution. So I think as a manager, it's just trusting your team, and then just like giving them the freedom to make mistakes and then brainstorm and bring new ideas to the table.
Yeah, that will help them a lot to learn and grow themselves as well as a company. That's a great style. Like, how important do you think organizational skills are? Because in an MBA course also, the teachers place a lot of emphasis on organizational skills and organizational behavior, how to behave in an organization in a professional line. So how important do you think they are in real life management and working conditions?
How would you describe these organization skills? Like, what kind of organization skills are you talking about?
Like the kind of organizational skills I'm talking about, like how to behave with other your co-workers, your team leaders, your subordinates, how to do things in a professional manner.
Because I have never had a job, so I don't really know if there's like actually the right way of doing it, quote unquote. Like I started the company right after I finished my MBA, so a month later. And so I've never really had a corporate job. The kind of work experience I've had are mostly like internships, like the ones I mentioned in the beginning. So the way I treat my team is a lot like the way I treat my friends. I feel like it's not that you have to treat people differently. So usually we have like a weekly meeting, and the first 10 minutes, everyone takes like 1 to 2 minutes just to talk about their weekend and their week, and then just make sure that everyone is okay in their personal life, because I always believe that family and health has to come first. So if someone in the team is like feeling sick, or maybe someone broke up with the girlfriend or the boyfriend, or like maybe some family member is sick, I need to know those kind of things, because I know the way that they're going to behave throughout the week is not going to be the same, So for me, like the way that we handle things is just as like they were my friends. Like I do care about them the way that I care about my friends. So every meeting, we just check on each other, make sure that everyone is okay. And then from there, we just start talking about the things that got done in a week, and then what are the goals for the next week. So I cannot tell you if this is the right way of doing it, because I have never really had a job, and I don't know if there's a specific model that like corporate jobs or big organizations use. But then because 4 years ago I finished my MBA and I started the company, I just try to do the things that I feel like it's right and the way that I would feel someone to treat me if I was working for their company. Does that make sense?
Yeah, so promoting a healthy work-life balance is your priority for your team to be like very efficient.
I don't really even believe in work-life balance, you know? There's only life, and then there's work.
Okay.
And then life is more important than work. So for me, it's just like have your priorities straight, which means your family and your health. And after that, then work. And there's like no timetables, like there's like no, how do you say this, like schedules, like it's just more everyone has their tasks and they have to get it done. I will never check on my team like, oh, did you work 8 hours today? Did you work 5 hours today? Did you work 3 hours today? I don't really mind. I just mind, like, I just care that the job gets done. If you can do it in 3 hours, great. If it takes you 8 hours because you need to procrastinate, then okay, it will take you 8 hours. So just get your job done. But we don't micromanage people with their time, because I'm a pretty messy person with my time as well. Even though I'm like very busy, I tend to leave everything for the very last minute. So yeah.
Okay.
Does that answer your question?
Yeah, perfect. Is there any advice that you would give to someone considering pursuing MBA? What are the things that they should keep in mind while going for an MBA course, globally also or domestically?
Um, I would say like an MBA is just more like the title, like, oh, I have an MBA, right? Right? It's something that sounds nice in your CV, but you just need to make sure, like, why are you studying this MBA and why are you trying to take out of this experience, right? Are you trying to make new friends in school? A lot of people have met their co-founders when starting a company in their classroom, right? So make sure that you network with your classmates, and then who knows, and 3 years later, you're going to start a company with that person. Then also try to reach out to the alumni from the school, or try to go and hang out with the MBA students from other universities. I always believe that people is what makes all the difference, right? Like it makes a difference with what kind of job you're going to get, what kind of company you're going to build. So just have your personal relationships, your friendships and everything, your network good, happy, in control, and just keep expanding it. So an MBA is just a great opportunity to network with people. But it really depends, like, are you trying to get a job just because you have an MBA, right? It's easier to find a job because you know someone inside a company that can recommend you rather than having an MBA. So it really depends on the goal of each person.
So, in your view, is how important is education or grades for someone to be successful or build a business? How important are these factors according to you?
How important is education to be successful, you mean? That's what you said.
Education, yeah, education or the grades that they get in whatever education they pursue, how important are they for someone to be successful?
I think it really depends, like everything in life, you know, like I'm about to finish my PhD degree, but I don't really feel like because I'm finishing my PhD, I'm a successful person. I don't think they're correlated at all. But I do believe like, oh, just because I'm a PhD student, it gave some sort of credibility to people, to investors, to business owners, thinking, oh, this girl is doing a PhD. She must be smart, you know, because that's how biased we are. But I believe that there has to be constant education, personal education. Like you need to constantly be learning new things, not because you go to university and then you go to a class and then you expect the teachers to teach you something, but like you need to be genuinely curious about learning new things. So for example, like things like masterclass, I love watching masterclass because I feel like I actually learn everything from each episode. I love reading, so I try to like read at least 10 pages of a new book every day. I think books are like a shortcut from people that have actually done something. A lot of times professors, they're very book smart, you know, they graduated and then they started teaching at a university, but they don't have the real experience of starting a company or actually working in a corporate job. A lot of them they have. So I think like education has a big impact on you, on your success, more on like how much you learn by yourself than which titles you get.
That's a great answer. Uh, are there any tips that you would give to someone who is pitching the idea to an investor for the first time? Because you have done it yourself, so anything that would help someone.
I think investors, they really like ideas that resonate with their core values. So for example, my company's investor, he really wants to help Taiwan become more international. So when I was pitching my idea to him, he told me like, oh, like he has traveled to 88 countries. He speaks, I don't know how many languages. So because of that, like he felt like this idea resonated with him. So I think also when picking an investor, you have to pick very carefully and not just go like, oh, this person is going to give me $3 million. Like, this should be my investor, because like getting an investor is like almost like marriage. Like you are going to be attached to this person forever. So just be very true to yourself and then explain the core values and why you're doing what you're doing with your company. And then hopefully that will resonate to the investor. So don't try to fake it, like just really be honest and then share why you're doing what you're doing from your heart, not trying to impress them.
Is the money more important or the values of the investor more important while getting someone on board?
I
Because
definitely
when you
think
start a business,
mm,
you are in need of money. That's why you have gone to an investor. So, what is more important according to you?
I definitely think is the value of the investor, because that person can help you open a lot of doors. That person can bring more investment to the company. That person can like guide you through like ups and downs that you're going to go through. Money wise, you could just go and lend money from a bank, so I think like having an investor is like having a mentor, someone that is gonna help you go through this journey, or like this person actually has the experience that you don't have. So I would definitely rather have a good investor than having a lot of money.
Definitely. You have had a variety of leadership roles, including being the CEO and also an adjunct instructor. How do you adapt your leadership style to fit these different contexts?
I try not to say much, but to show more. I remember my high school, like I went to the international school in Guatemala, and the motto of my high school is lead by example. So don't say much, just do much. It's just like if people see that like you're on time, let's say when I teach at university, I don't think I've ever been late. If I've been late, maybe it's been like 2 times in like 2.5 years that I've been teaching there. So I'm not gonna come, like I tell my students, like I care about punctuality. The class starts at 9. At 9:01, the door will be locked, right? So I'm expecting everyone to be on time, which means I need to be on time, So like I cannot tell them, oh, you guys need to be on time, and then I just show up 10 minutes late, right? So it's just like after I say that, then everyone actually starts coming on time because I lock the door, because they know I'm going to be on time. So that's with like everything that I do, I think. It's just lead by example. Like I don't try to tell them, oh, go do this, go do that. Like I'll tell them one time, then I will do it. I'll show them how to do it. And then hopefully slowly they will learn as well. So I think when it comes to leadership styles, I just try to do my best and then just tell them like, this is how I do it. I hope that you can do the same or even better than me. That would be amazing.
How difficult is it playing different roles in your daily life and managing the time efficiently? Like you play a lot of different roles and still are able to do well in all of those? How difficult is that?
I don't see it as super difficult just because I feel like that's how my life has always been. And I just see it as like Halloween, you know? Like I'm just like wearing different costumes every time. Like today is like, oh, like I'm gonna have a lot of meetings related to the company. So today I'm the CEO or like founder of a small startup. Then tomorrow I have to be a teacher, like or a professor at university. Then this weekend I'm just gonna be a friend and then go party with my friends, you know? So it's just about wearing different costumes, but then staying true to yourself, and that's it. It's not that I change, like I'm the same person, but maybe I just have different outfits. And when it comes to time management, I do have like a very tight schedule and I just try to make the most out of it. You've probably seen it on my social media. Like I post
Yeah,
sometimes how my calendar looks like, and then it just has different colors, and every color
I
has a
know.
different meaning. So
Yeah,
yeah,
I
it's
have
just
seen
like
your calendar.
I have the time for my family, I have the time for my friends, I have the time to just have fun, I have the time to go and exercise, go to the gym, go swimming. There's time to run the company, there's time for everything. We all have 24 hours. Like it's just a matter of how we make the most out of these 24 hours we have every day.
How did you start your business and your startup? And any words for someone aspiring to start their own startup at an early stage of life?
Um, I'll just say there's only one life. Just make the most out of it, you know? Like a lot of times we just have all these doubts in our head, or we're just too scared that people's gonna think that we're crazy. Imposter syndrome hits really hard. It still hits me every day. It's just like, am I really capable of doing this? You know, like I'm always doubting myself still. Um, and like we just need to be aware that everyone is going through the same. Like I have met like crazy successful people and they still doubt themselves, you know? They're still not 100% sure of what they're doing. So I do like to think that I'm not going to have a what if in my life, you know, like a regret of not trying something. So if you think you have an idea, first just go and talk about this idea with everyone. You know, share this idea with like your friends, your family, then ask what they think. And then they're going to start asking you a bunch of questions that maybe you haven't thought about. And then little by little, then you're going to come to the conclusion, be like, oh, maybe this is doable, or oh, this is actually really hard. I don't think this is going to work. But a lot of times we have all these ideas, but then some of us were like too scared that someone's going to steal our idea that we don't even share it with our friends. And that's such a big mistake. Like I used to do that in the very beginning. And then I realized, no, like the more I share it with people, then the more ideas and the more questions I'm going to have, and then I will be able to come to, I don't know, the goal of the company.
So, how do you keep yourself motivated? Like a lot of people get depressed during a lot of failures. So, how can they keep themselves motivated to do good and be positive?
um I think like the word motivation comes and goes, you know, like I don't feel motivated every day. There's some days that I just want to stay on my sofa and do nothing, and I do it, you know, like sometimes I'm like, yeah, like I'm not going to do anything today. And I literally just stay there and I feel depressed and I'm like, oh my God, there's so many things I have to get done and I don't feel motivated. And that's fine. Like you don't need to be motivated every single day. But I think it's about having a clear picture of how you want your life to look like. You know, like, do you feel like you want to be working at an office? Do you feel like you want to spend more time with your family? How many days of vacations do you want every year? You know, all of these things, like when you ask these questions to yourself, then you can be like, okay, is it worth it? Is it worth it to actually try and start a company? Or should I just get a job or whatever it is? So it's more about having a clear picture of what kind of lifestyle you want to have. And then depending on that, then you can have an idea if you want to feel motivated or not, basically.
How do you feel about your focus on goals? Is goal more important or the process to reach that aim more important?
um before I would always say like, oh, it's not about the goal, is about the journey, right? Like focus on the journey. Like it's so much like it's the process, right? But then I realized it's not about the end goal and it's not about the journey. It's about the company. It's about the people who's around you while you're doing that. Because you can be having this journey that you want to have, but then you're so lonely focusing on this that what is the point? Or you can reach your end goal and then have all the money that you always wished, but you don't have who to share it with. So it's not about the end goal, it's not about the journey, it's about the company. That's something that this year taught me. So yeah, just enjoy the journey, but most importantly, enjoy who is sharing this journey with you. And the end goal, there's no end goal. Like that's like the book that is called The Infinite Game. You're always going to be playing this business world. There's no end goal.
The goal always moves forward. Yeah. That's
Yeah.
something new. That's something new that enjoy the company. That's interesting. So, ma'am, my last question to you would be, any words of advice for our students as we are on the verge of entering the corporate world?
The corporate world. Oh my God. Because I am so naive to the corporate world because I haven't joined that world, that I'm actually very curious of. Like I really want to have a job one day and then see how it is. But I think one advice that I've seen from the outside, because I have many friends that have worked or that are working for big corporate jobs, just don't forget to live, like don't give your life to a company 100%. It's important for you to have your life outside of work, because a lot of time they just get like so obsessed with their jobs and they're like nonstop working. They want to get promoted, all of these things. But I read like not long ago, it's just like, if your boss at a corporate company, like if you would to die the next day, they would already have like 10 applications for people trying to get the job that you had. So like if you're actually working for a corporate, just make sure that you focus on living as well, on your life outside of the company. And while you're working at the company, just enjoy it as much as you can. Learn and make new friends.
That will help us for sure. Thank you so much, ma'am, for an enlightening session and for sharing your knowledge. I hope that your words of wisdom will enlighten our students. Once again, on behalf of IBS Mumbai and Corporate Connect Club, we thank you for sparing your time from the busy schedule to talk with us. I hope all the students enjoy this conversation as much as I do. Thank you so much.
Oh, thank you so much for having me.
If you have any questions on the podcast video, please leave them in the comments below. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our channel for more such videos. Also, for more corporate insights, you can visit our Instagram page mentioned in the description below. Till then, stay tuned for episode 2.